Hello, my name is Jonathan Stuart, better known as Mickey, and I am the proud father of one. My daughter's name is Brianna Stuart. She has the bubbly personality of her daddy. Every time you see her, she's smiling just like me. But on the other side, she's kind of quiet into herself, just like her mom. On the day my daughter was born, it was a planned delivery. She actually had a C-section. We were prepared to go to the hospital that particular morning of April the 16th. On that morning, we arrived at the hospital. I'm kind of musically inclined. So after they admitted her in the hospital that morning, I put some headphones on her mother's stomach. And I played the song by Rick James, I'm Coming Out. And believe it or not, the heart monitor showed that she started reacting to that song in the womb. So it wasn't long before noontime that I was the proud father of the one Brianna Stuart. On the morning that we checked in at the hospital, it was just Brianna's mom and myself, Cassandra. At the time after the delivery, I think the whole family had showed up by then. My mom, her mom, and a few other family members. And I remember coming out of the delivery room to just a whole bunch of happy people, friends and family. And it was kind of amazing that when she was born, back then, we had those disposable cameras. Well, I took 3 of them that particular day to the hospital. And when she came out, I used pretty much all 3 of those cameras. And the nurses were like, "You one proud father, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, I am. This is my one and only. And she will be the first and the last of the Mohicans." My definition of a father, in my terms, in my world, I said being a father is being there for your child, no matter what is going on in the world, whether you're working, at work, away from the child, not in the same house with the child, but you are still doing your duties as a father to their child. Whatever she may need, you cater to. If she needs to talk to you, you talk with her. Don't talk down on her. Talk with your child. And as a man, I have grown so close to my child that I know that if you open up and you share things with your child will come to you at any given moment when there's a crisis going on. And I say that because we had it to happen with our child. She felt more compelled to confide in me than she would with anyone else. But that would not have happened if it was not for day one with my child. From the time she came out, that first day at the hospital, she was on my chest. She couldn't rest with her mother due to the procedure that she had, so she could only cling to her father. So from day one, and I can vaguely remember taking off for almost a month of not doing any work. People actually thought I had quit my job, but I was just so happy being a proud father to my child. My style of parenting is a little different. I was brought up in a time where we were able to get out a little bit more than some of the other kids could. So as I brought a child into the world, I kind of wanted her to have some of what I had. But me and her mother kind of butted heads on that a little bit. She wanted to be more of a strict parent, but I wanted to be more of a let loose type parent. But still at the same time, you got to monitor what they'll do. So we would tend to let her go out to little different events or whatnot. But at the same time, we would be there with her just to watch over, chaperone, shall we say. But that enabled us to see what type of child she was going to turn out to be. And it turned out to be a good thing, because even though she has my bubbly ways that we say, when you see her, she's smiling all the time. But at the same time, she does not get involved with a whole lot of individual kids, because she has the personality that she's very strong with it. And she don't succumb to peer pressure as these kids do nowadays. But watching me and watching her mom, she grew up, I guess you can say, idolizing us both to become the young lady that she is today. So she went from being a sweet little innocent baby girl to, we say, becoming a prosperous young woman now, being that she has graduated this year, 2022. The perks of being the only child are you get to reap the benefits of everything, not have to split it with anybody. But at the same time, you don't get that growth, you can say, within the family household of having a sibling with you, not having sibling rivalries, such as me and my brother did, not wanting something more than your other sibling did, not having to fight over chores as your other siblings did with you. But being the only child, everything, if something happens, we already know who did it. There's only 3 people in the house: mom, dad, and the child. So if mom didn't do it and I didn't do it, baby, you done it. So you can't lie about that. So Brianna, she never was that type of child. I'm so thankful that she was honest in all her doings and was able to be open to both of us, more especially the proud father. Me growing up as a child with my father, he lived in the same household with us. But back in that era, when you went to your father, they always pushed it back on the mom. Go ask your mama, is what my father would say. He was there, in a sense, as the provider for the family. He made sure that we had everything that we needed. He provided for me, my brother, and my mom. But at the same time, if we wanted to know something or needed to do something, it was always the mama that was put in charge of taking care of all of that. My nieces and nephews, my oldest nephew, his name is Stuart, and I had the pleasure of helping my brother bring him along when he was approximately 1 till maybe 2 years. He may have been before 1, till he was almost 2 years old. Then my other niece, well, my niece and my other 2 nephews, they were actually raised in the Dallas area. So I get a chance to see them during the summertime. My niece Chloe, I'm crazy about her. She comes down and she caters to her uncle. She loves me to death. And Foster tries to follow along with her, but he can't hang. He's not as strong as she is, but I'm so proud of Chloe and who she's turning out to be. Nick is turning out good. Nick is good right now. He's actually in the military, and proud of that young man. And Foster's coming right on with it too. So all of my nephews and my one niece, I love them to death. It takes a village to raise a child. Ooh, and let me go way back to the upbringing of my child. My child was born April 16, 2004. Bringing her into the world with the way that I was working and my wife was working at the time, we needed some help. And this is what a term says: it takes a village to raise a child. I had my grandmother. I had friends of the family, church members, older people helping us in raising my child. My child was not sent to a babysitter that was young and inexperienced. Every person that we say that was in our village were people that were of good standards, shall we say. You don't just want to put your child with anybody. So at the age of, shall we say, 3, 4, 5 years old, my child had the behavior of an old person because she was literally raised with the older generation. I can recall her sitting in her car seat one day, and I looked around and she had her legs crossed and was swinging her foot like a little old lady sitting on the porch. All I could do was shake my head. But it was a good thing because I knew where she got it from. She got it from the older people that she was hanging with. And to this very day, she's a young child, but she got an old soul. And she said to me not long ago, now I was saying something along the lines of, you growing up. And she said, Daddy, but I'm still a child at heart. And I couldn't do it. I wanted to cry, but I always try to make like I'm the strong one. I couldn't break down in front of her, but she's such an amazing child. Back in April of 2015, my child was diagnosed with a form of cancer. It's a rare form of cancer called Ewing sarcoma. They said it was predominant in white people, but somehow she ended up with this disease. I myself was going through some issues at the same time, and I had decided that it was time for me to sit down so I could take care of myself. But at the same time, I ended up having to take care of her. So the latter part of April, they diagnosed her with Ewing sarcoma, and it may have been like the first part of May in 2015, she started undergoing chemo treatments and radiation treatments. That was a trying time for us as a family. Our whole family pulled together, along with the church, to get through that time. We spent right about a year going back and forth to Little Rock, Arkansas, at Arkansas Children's Hospital. One week we would spend 3 days there. We would skip a week and have to spend 5 or 6 days at the hospital with our child. But every trip that we took, it was the 3 of us. Mom, Dad, and our baby. We all 3 spent every night in that one room. We wasn't in separate rooms. The hospital was so accommodating for us to be there with our child. And we did that for, like I said, right at a year. And if it wasn't for God, we wouldn't be here today. She has become, I say, a vigilant young lady, having to go through something like that at 11 years old. The girl was strong, very strong. And to this very day, you would not even know that she's a cancer patient unless somebody actually told you. But we had the support. This goes back to the previous question, where it takes a village. This whole town came together and supported us while we were going through that with our baby. And I must say again, thank you, Texarkana, for what you did during that time frame. You can never say thank you enough. And people don't really understand that when you have your older generation when they're sick, you can kind of deal with it a little easier. But when you got a baby, that is one of the hardest things, to watch your baby go through so much pain and suffering, wanting to give up herself. And it got so bad, the particular wing that we were in the hospital, she had kind of given up. And we told her, if you wanted your mom and dad to continue to be here by your bedside, you've got to get stronger. Or they're going to put you on the other side of the wall where we won't even be able to come in with you. And she looked at me, and the problem was she wouldn't eat. And when we finally told her what was going on that particular night, she said, Daddy, go get me something to eat. She said, I'll try to eat. And that night she started back, I guess, getting her willpower up. But that's when you, I'm gonna say it to the men, as a father, no matter what your child is going through, listen to them. Get connected to your child. Listen to what they're going through. Talk to them. And everything will turn out just fine. If you look at us now, we don't look like what we've been through. But we have been through the storm and the rain. And we have come out on the other side. We made it through. Dealing with my child and dealing with myself at the same time. That is a adventure, not just a job, shall we say. Back in 2000, my child was born in 2004. So from 2004 till we say 2015, that's a quick 11 years. I spent a lot of my time working. I was DJing, going to mortuary school, working in different funeral homes, all at the same time of trying to raise my child. not wanting them to not have less of anything, but wanting them to stay on top. I became real ill in 2013. We haven't got to the part about my child yet. So in 2013, I started taking treatments for my illness. And then a couple of years later, we found out my child is sick. So I'm like, how we gonna balance me raising a child with her mother and me being sick at the same time? But that's when you kick in the overdrive, because you don't want to fail your family. You want everything to still be lined up. So I took a couple of years of treatments, and Bree was diagnosed in 2015. So Bree would take her treatments every other week. On her off weeks, I would take my treatments. So I drove from Little Rock, come straight back through Texarkana, drive straight to Dallas, spend 2 days in Dallas, do my treatments. And if I had to, I would come right back through Texarkana again and go to Little Rock. But I never gave up. I would have given out before I gave up, but I still had to fight for my baby. At the same time, I'm still trying to make a legacy for her, something to pass on to her, even when I'm gone. So no, I would not give up. At the 2016 was her last treatment. She did a radiation. And after that, that's when my health started to diminish even more. It was around 2017, going into 2018 is when I didn't walk again. And I felt real little, not knowing if I was going to be able to continue to be that proud father that I once was when I was up and moving for my child, because I felt like I couldn't do nothing for her. But I had to push those feelings to the side. And I had to bring myself back to reality and realize that, Mickey, your child is still here. Your child needs you. You got to come out of that rut and continue to do for your baby. And to this very day, this is 2022, I'm still pushing to make sure that our baby has everything that she needs. I will not, I cannot give up, because she needs her father. And I want to continue myself. Sorry, y'all. To be a proud father to my child. The biggie, co-parenting. Brothers, listen to me, and listen to me well. Co-parenting is the best thing that you could ever do with your child. No matter what you and the mother got going on, you do not have to be in the same household to raise your child. But men, Just because you are not in that household, don't mean that you take a step back and let any and everything go on. You as a man, be there for your child no matter what. If your child comes to you, I don't care what it's about. You are obligated to go directly to that mother. A lot of men may not like what I'm about to say about that. But you and her, I'm saying the child's mother, y'all brought this child into the world. It's not the child's fault. So you need to have that understanding with the mother. It's not all what you want. It's not all what the mother wants. It's all of what the baby needs, not what the baby wants. Your baby needs to know that the mother and the father are always on good terms. If there's a disagreement, the child does not need to know about it. If y'all need to have an argument, do it away from the child. But when that child sees the mother and the father together, you all are smiling like you still one big happy family. And I don't care if the mother or the father is married to someone else, your child does not need to see anything negative come from any of the parents involved. The biological parents and the step parents, everybody needs to be on the same page. Because if the relationship is not healthy there, your child's relationship in the world will not be healthy. So what a child sees is what a child takes in. And that's what your child will grow up to be. So if you giving nothing but positive vibes, I promise you, brothers, your child will be on top. So get it out your head that you don't have to answer to that woman. But it's not that you answering to that woman. You all are just in an agreement to raise your child the way that your child needs to be raised. And if you could just put all of that to the side, I promise you, your child will be number one. It has changed my whole perspective on life. As a young man, you know, you out there doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it. But with a child, it changes things. You don't want your child seeing you do the things that you used to do. The things that, as you could say, drove you wild and let you have a whole lot of fun, because you got to lead by example now. So you can't lead your child astray. You can let them have fun, but you got to have some boundaries with that fun. So me, as a man now, I'm more responsible, shall we say. I'm not real wild in the things that I used to do, because I have a little girl, well, let me say a little woman now, that's looking at everything I do and is always coming to me for advice on what to do. I just simply want daddy to say, this is what should I do? So it has made me a responsible person. And the fact that when she was born in 2004, I have grown a whole lot more, per se, as an adult, since she has come into the world. So you think you know it all until you get a child and have to raise that child to do the correct thing and not the wrong things that you did as a person growing up, because they need a follower, and you as the father, you want your child to follow in your footsteps. And they can always say, well, I get it from my daddy. They got an old term, I get it from my mama. But we as fathers, we need to turn that around and let them say, I get it from my daddy. So fathers, if you got a little girl, you treat that girl like a queen. You give her everything that she needs, not wants. Give her what she needs to survive. Because when another man comes and he's trying to do for her, if she don't do it like daddy did, he won't be able to do anything with your child. So be a father to your child. My inspiration of fatherhood, I could say, goes way back. When we talked about this in the beginning, it takes a village. Well, my upbringing around the biggest man was my grandfather. My grandfather was a Foster Tower senior. My grandfather was the one that had stern looks but few words. So when he looked at you, you knew to get right. And if he had to say something, something was coming behind it. And when I say something was coming behind it, I ain't talking about some words. We talking about belts, switches, books, stitching cards. Yeah, they gave it to us back then. It's called child abuse now. But back then, it was called get right. So we enjoyed those times, and those are the times that made us the good people that we are today. I would not have worked as much as I did if I could do it all over again. Because being away working all the time, I had a job at the paper mill, which did rotating shifts. At the same time, I was DJing. At the same time, I was going to mortuary school. And after graduating, I still did all of those jobs, along with embalming for 4 different funeral homes. So that took a lot of time away from my baby. I missed a lot of things because I was trying to be a provider, thinking that I had to have all the money in the world to take care of my family. When what your family really needs is that time with you. I missed a lot of things that she had. Now, don't take for granted, I did take off work a lot, but it was only because I had people, as we say, in the village. We have our own villages as well, but people understood that I wanted to be there for my baby. And they would, what we say, change shifts with me, allow me to be with my child on a field trip, allow me to attend different events that my child was part of, because those are the moments in time that you can't get back. So if I could do it all over again, I would cut my workload in half and go back and get some of that stuff that I missed with her. And I take it, I'm not mad, but I did miss a lot. But the key things, I made sure I was there. So seeing her from the day of birth until now. I have no regrets because she excelled to the top, graduating in the top of her class. But that was only because her mother and myself and the village that we had around her. We put something in Brianna Simone Stuart to make her who she is today. Brianna Simone Stuart, this is your father, Jonathan William Stuart Jr., aka Mickey. From this day forward, I want you to look back at this and think about how your mother and I, and as we say, the village around us, has raised you, helped develop you into the young woman that you are. We want you to go forward, live your life, live your dreams. Not what I may have wanted you to be, or your mama may have wanted you to be, but do what you want to do. Excel in your field. Just know that we are here to support you 100%. Nah, I lied right there. 110%. We want you to be all that you can be, baby. Because I love you with all my heart. Your mama loves you. Your family loves you. And you know Texarkana loves you. Do what you do, my girl. Take care of us in the long run as we have taken care of you. Daddy loves you. Peace.